I chose to begin working with Val because my life had become fairly unmanageable, and a very good friend of mine recommended her and said that she'd done some amazing things for her. So I tried.
Well, what made me choose to start working with Val was initially yoga. She was doing private yoga with me, and then it turned into more lifestyle coaching. And at that time we would do hikes. It was really healthy lifestyle coaching. And then that segued into more personal coaching, which surprised me because she was younger than me. And I was just so impressed by, even back then, the level of wisdom and connection that I felt with her.
What made me choose working with Val was my old boss actually had been seeing her for a while, and I've known him for years and years, and I noticed a huge shift in how he was. I've known him through a lot of things he was going on in his life, and he all of a sudden started to seem, he was very happy. He was just very ebb and flow with life. And I found myself in a spot where that was not the case for me, and asked Joe what he did and who he was seeing. So that's how I got to know Val and why I chose her.
What made me choose to work with Val was really around her centering, her guidance. I was in a kind of low point in my life where I didn't feel like I had any balance. And I needed someone that I could trust, that I could work with, and that could leave me a very safe space to allow me to tell my truth.
So my sister was actually, well, I chose to start working with Val because my sister was actually working with her. And my sister asked me to meet with her for a session, and I did. And I wasn't even intending to start working with her when we did that session, but I just really connected with her in that session and felt like I learned so much about myself. And, even in just that one session with her, I made so much progress, and I thought, dang, I want to keep doing this.
What made me decide to start working with Val was really a couple of factors. I mean, we had an initial kind of intake conversation, and I think the way Val presented herself and how she works was definitely compatible to what I was looking for. I wasn't really seeking to choose, traditional, therapy routes, or people who would, present medications and options that we normally get through the, through a physician route. Is more of a spiritual and internal, personal approach to therapy. And, for those reasons, primarily, I decided to start working with her and to, hone some of the things that we wanted to work on together.
My favorite part about working with Val is how well she seems to be able to understand what I'm trying to say, even when I'm having trouble finding the words. And then she's able to help me to find my own solutions without telling me what the answers are, but helping me to find the way, which is exactly what I needed.
My favorite part about working with Val is initially back then, it was really how flexible she was to meet my needs. I tend to keep myself really busy, and I did back then, and I still do now. And so it really could work it into my lifestyle. Also, shifting gears, so it could go from being lifestyle work to more physical work, whether it was, like I said, hiking, yoga, or sitting down and just talking about things.
What is my favorite part about working with Valerie? I would say her honesty. So one of the things I've gone you know, in life, there's always coaching or mentoring or therapy. And I've gone to therapy at 56. I've gone to therapy before. I always want to start with, let's spend 7 weeks talking about your past. And the greatest thing about Val is she started our initial interview, like, is this a fit or not, was, I don't care about your past. We're going to start with the future. And that's where I wanted to go. I know about my past. I've been through it enough. I don't need to. So she was amazing in being able to move me forward without feeling like I got stuck somewhere.
My favorite part about working with Val really is around the beauty, the openness, the ability to just, you know, talk with her in true, real forms. She listens to you. She does not judge you, and she's a person who I have trust.
My favorite part about working with Val, I would say, is how much I learn about myself and how much that I can carry it into my everyday life. It's the things that we talk about are things that that are sitting right in front of me, but I would never notice on my own.
My favorite part of working with Val is Val. Val's definitely a very unique person, in my opinion. You know, she's extremely energetic, extremely skilled at what she does. You know, I think what I appreciate about Val is she's you know, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of savory, right? It's not all hugs and kisses all the time. You know, she's good at giving the tough love when it's needed. And so, you know, I really appreciate Val for her honesty and for her acknowledgement of who you are as a person when you're interacting with her, and the way that she does that, you know, and stays in touch with you, even in between the sessions, and the work that you do together, and just as a person, you know, how she shows up, you know. So I appreciate Al for the really amazing, you know, loving and aware being that she is.
One of the things that has impacted me with our sessions that I wasn't anticipating was getting to a point where, and I hope I don't do it now, we were having a conversation and Val picked up on something that I didn't even realize myself, and I found myself just weeping. But it really was one of those times when it released a huge amount of pressure for me, and I felt so much more calm and open to positive outcomes after really coming to touch something that was incredibly painful. And I've got tears in my eyes right now, really kind of thinking about it. So it was pretty astonishing to me. It was amazing.
What impacted me greatly about working with Val that I wasn't expecting is the level of growth that she's gone through and the way she's developed herself and her practice. Just to include so much more and to see her growth and evolution is just incredibly inspiring. So I started out with one thing and I've ended up with just so much more in the human being that she's evolved and evolving to.
What was something that impacted me greatly that I wasn't expecting? I don't think I didn't expect to feel the levity that I got from Valerie, meaning I didn't think it would happen as quickly as it did. So in starting to see Valerie, there was light at the end of the tunnel on our first session. And then life became a lot lighter, less of a burden very quickly with her. And I think I appreciate that the most.
What impacted me greatly that I learned from Val really was through my experience is that I'm not perfect. I never was perfect, and I'm human. And something that, you know, I always thought to strive that I had to be this person or that person. And, you know, I think she really impacted me to say that, you know, I'm Joe and Joe is a human.
Oh, everything. sorry, so something that impacted me greatly and I wasn't expecting, I think would be learning about how my approach to the world in ways that I'm not even thinking about it or expecting, and how that affects my experiences, whether that's my experiences in a relationship with someone else or my experiences in just how I kind of how I experience the world, and how much my, I'm not able to put it very clearly, but yeah, just how much these like subconscious parts about me are affecting my experiences in the world, I think.
All right, so going for that. So something that impacted me greatly that I wasn't expecting was actually a bit of a spiritual smackdown during the immersion with Val. So we had a day together in Mexico and did an immersion, which was really the culmination of the work we've been doing since April. And I got one landing on me in Mexico. I ended up in the hospital getting stitches for reawakening on the bathroom floor of my Airbnb. So it wasn't anything obviously Val had done, but you know, through the work we were doing, some very interesting things you know, transpired in our work together. And it was interesting because that fell in the middle of our week together. And you know, from there things have been, it was quite a shift for me. So that was an actual you know, physical permutation of some things. But I think, you know, really just like I said, how Val has shown up, it's not just been about me and my personal and other relationships, but also in my work career. She's been pivotal and where I've arrived at this point. I'm at the threshold of a promotion at work. So, you know, all of this work it really shows you how it's, you know, fully something you can integrate in your life in a 360 form. It's not just about one thing. It is very multidimensional in terms of how you interact with yourself and how you speak with yourself and how you interact or perceived, you know, your brand around other people. So.
I would recommend Val to someone who's on the fence, primarily because I didn't think that it was going to make such a big difference in my life. I've used, or I have seen, a number of therapists and counselors over the course of my life, a few life coaches, and I really didn't get what I thought I was going to get out of it. So I kind of felt like there wasn't going to be a solution for me. But Val has a great deal of patience and insight, and somehow we just really seem to click. I've gotten a lot out of it, and honestly, it's one of the best things I've done in a long time.
As far as recommending Val to someone who's uncertain, yeah, I would just say that, you know, if they're looking for honesty, I really love how she can be very real and very worldly, and also very ethereal and very transcendent. And she's got both of those skill sets, and she shifts between them very readily in any given session. And, you know, will just be really raw, as well as feeling into kind of what the higher spiritual purpose and power of any work.
Why would I recommend her? I think she has a very different approach to working through problems, issues, things that are kind of gnawing at you. I would recommend her for she's, to be totally honest, she's actually changed our entire family. So after I started seeing her, my husband started seeing her. We're seeing her for two totally different reasons. And then my daughter has started seeing her. And then my best friend had a lot of things in life that just, she wasn't having any joy. Actually, none of us were having any joy in life. And I actually set her up with Valerie. And so between the four of us, there's this sense of freedom around just, it's going to sound kind of funny. There's this sense of freedom around just being able to just enjoy life. And for anyone who's on the fence, I think the best thing, and this is what I said to my girlfriend and my husband, I'm like, what do you have to lose? Like, what do you really have to lose, right? I mean, it can only get better if right now you're really struggling and or even if you're not struggling, but you're looking for a way to really enjoy life. I would recommend Valerie to anybody.
I would recommend Val to friends, to family, to anyone, due to the fact that she is very real. She is a person who lets you talk your truth, lets you really speak what's on your mind and holds that place for you, and has the ability to really love, learn, and be a part of who you are. So I think that's really what I would suggest. And folks who are on the fence about it, I would suggest just be open, and you will see that there is magic in yourself.
Recommending this to someone who's on the fence, I think that, I don't know, just do it. I think, it's so great working with her. And I think just even trying one session and seeing how it goes would be a really good way to start, because I have learned so much about myself even in one session. So yeah, I would say just give it a shot, try it once, and see how it goes. I would highly recommend it.
I would recommend this to someone who may be on the fence, because what else do you have to lose, honestly, first of all? I mean, if you've tried everything else or haven't even tried everything else, I really just see it as, it's an opportunity for you to take on an experience with Val, maybe a different approach than you might have thought of, and just be open-minded about it. I think, Val brings a lot to the table. She is really quite bright, has a world of experience and in general, and also with what she does. So I think people would find themselves pleasantly surprised about her approaches, how insightful she is when she's interacting with you, and how present she is during those conversations. So, for me, I would highly recommend that people at least give it a go, because I think they would be pretty surprised at how well Val is able to quickly ascertain, where some of the opportunities may be. And of course, this work, can go on. So, the upfront would be a scratching of the surface, which I think is why people should at least, take a crack at it. But from there, obviously, you can, the world's your oyster, and in working with Val, you can continue to just probe and go as deep, as you want with her. Like I mentioned before, I just feel like, in cases of therapy, it feels very one-sided sometimes. And just repeating your story, I think with Val, there's just something a lot more tactile in working with her than that. It's just less sterile and a little more real for me personally.
My main concern about working with Val before I met her was the descriptions that I got from her were very of her, were rather mystical. And I thought, oh, this woman's going to blow smoke. It's all going to be about channeling my inner something. And I thought, this is ridiculous. But I was in a point where I really needed help, and I knew it. And I felt that one visit wasn't going to harm me, and that I was at least going to give it a try. And I'm really glad I did. I wouldn't miss a session. It's been amazing, the things that I've learned about myself. I mean, I'm not young. I'm 57 years old, and there are things about myself that I thought I was very clear on. I wasn't. And I appreciate very much all the help that Val's been able to give me. I am so much calmer and more open, I guess. And it's a really good place to be.
Well, I guess my main concern in any engagement like that is that there's value, you know, that it's money well spent. And one of the things, I mean, I 100% get a ton out of every session with her, so it's definitely there. But in addition, just her willingness to shift and to meet your needs at any given time, even though they might be changing, makes it worth it, because, you know, you don't have to go out looking somewhere else. She has so much in her repertoire of what she can address and help with. And again, the flexibility is super helpful. It's not, you know, I've done psychoanalysis as an example, and that's very rigid, and I feel that that wasn't necessarily the best use of my resources. So working with her, it's just such a broader repertoire of things that she can offer and help with, and, you know, lead me. And then I sometimes often find things with her that I didn't know I needed. And, you know, she just helps me elevate to the next level of self-awareness.
What was my main concern with coaching from Val? I think the cost of it. So it's not, I can't write it off on my insurance. I can't use my FSA. And I was kind of weighing the cost of it. I saw what it did for my friend and how he transformed. So I had no concerns that she was amazing. It was the cost piece of it. And then I kind of really looked at the cost of what was going on and not enjoying my life. And I thought, you know what, less Starbucks, you know, whatever it takes to doing it. And then I think at that point, really, the cost of it also helped the commitment. So it wasn't $20 a session. And because of that, I took copious notes, and I reviewed my notes, and I made sure I was doing the homework and really working on the things that Valerie gave me.
You know, I didn't really have a main concern about coaching with Val. I think, you know, what I was thinking, what I was going through at the time was, why do I need help? You know, why would I reach out for someone I don't know? Why would I do this? And the beauty of what I thought and what I went through and what I experienced with Val is, it's okay to have help. It's okay to talk with someone. It's okay to again, you know, be with someone. So I think that's really what I got from that.
I think the main concern is just opening up to someone. But Val has so much, I think, respect for people. Like you just feel the ability to be vulnerable with her. So I think that's a big concern of, oh, you know, is it even worth it? Because will I be able to access that part of myself? But she's so comforting. She just really like makes it easy to talk about things and discover things. And yeah, she's just a very comfortable person to work with.
I don't know that I had any main concerns. You know, I knew I wanted to do the work. I was pretty geared up about working with Al after our first conversation. You know, it's an investment, obviously. I mean, you know, it's you know, you have to put time and money into the effort, but I deemed that as an investment in myself. You know, where I'm at right now and in my personal life and in my career, to me, it was, you know, putting that effort, an investment down in myself really was just, you know, a huge return on investment for, you know, what would come out the backside of it. So, you know, I think up front, there wasn't much hesitation for me based on where I'm at, but I think if folks had, you know, any hesitation, the upside is that it's really just a great opportunity to invest in yourself and really look at and focus and work on some things that maybe you've neglected over time. It's a great opportunity to do that.